This is a video I never wanted to have to make, but I knew I would eventually. So for those of you who follow me for my horse, he unfortunately at 8:30 a.m. on March 30th, 2026 had to be put down. Before I get into that story, I want to give those of you who don't know some backstory on him, medically and between me and him. Medically, he's beaten cancer twice, squamous cell carcinoma of the eye. It was on his third eyelid, and then it was on his outer eyelid. So he lost his third eyelid, and then he lost his whole eye. He's had chemotherapy one time. He did not do it the second time around due to his age. His first time he had cancer, I was 18, and I was busting my butt at my part-time job at the local Kmart, which they don't even have them anymore. So hard that I ended up getting a promotion to be a manager. And then the store closed and really put me in a tough spot. But I made sure that my horse was taken care of then. And then when he turned around like 16, 17, he started having issues with his hocks. And I rode him hard in my teen years. I'm not gonna lie. We went to a lot of shows, we did a lot of jumping, we did a lot of trail riding. I rode him almost every day. We went to the mountains, we went to the beach, we did cross country, we did show jumping, we didn't dabble in dressage at all. He didn't have the patience for it, and I didn't have the patience for it. We did gaming, we even chased some cows. Like, he had done everything. We've seen fireworks together, we've seen big barges and boats together, we've gone swimming together. That horse literally checked off every horse riding bucket list I could have ever asked for him. We rode through a cave, like a tunnel. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better horse in my teens. And in a way, I was blessed to have him in the early parts of my life, when I had no responsibilities, all the time in the world, and carefree. Like a teenager, before you're paying your own health insurance, you have no fear. When he was 16, 17, he got diagnosed with some pretty severe arthritis in his hocks and a chip. So we started giving him injections and Equinox. And he was also on, I'm trying to remember what it was called. I'll put it on the screen, but it was a once a month injection that I ended up stopping him just because it didn't seem like it was working, and then we switched to Atavon and Legend. Legend is what I ended up sticking with. I think that worked the best. I took him not only to his regular vet, but I also took him to like one of the best leg vets in the world. Like, I worked for this vet, and people used to import horses from like New Zealand to see him. He's also one of the only vets in the world who has a hyperbaric chamber that's big enough for a horse. So I took him there, and he told me basically to ride him. He was fine. Just keep giving him the injections and the maintenance, and keep it straight lines. Don't do a lot of hills, and don't do a lot of circles. So I did that. And then eventually it got to the point where I felt bad. Like, he was clearly not having a good time. Especially in the winter. In the summer, I felt like he could go out more, and he enjoyed going out even if you were just ponied him. But in the winter, he was so sore that without medication, I just didn't feel right riding him, and I didn't think it was right to medicate him to ride him. That just feels like you're just putting a band-aid on an issue. So we knew his time was coming. Me and my husband had talked about it. We talked about it with the vet. We discussed, especially when he had that big weight loss scare right before my wedding, and he had to be switched to a new grain and a supplement rotation of like cool calories and other like fat building and muscle building stuff, until eventually we settled on cool calories. It seemed to be what he was most enjoying eating because he's a picky eater and he would just refuse food if he didn't like the supplement. And Triple Crown Senior Diamond was the feed he was on. So that worked incredibly. He gained weight. He looked incredible. He looked so good. He was feeling better. And we were finishing up winter, which was the bad season for him. It was the season he required the most maintenance. It was the season I was always scared to go down to the farm because I was scared that I was going to go down there and it was going to be the day he was so lame that I was going to have to call the vet. But for the most part, this last winter, with all his new medications and stuff, he was doing great. He was stiff, but he wasn't lame. He was playing in the field. He was trotting around. So it was like he had recovered. Even my vet was like, wow, he's doing really good. And then I get a call. The vet had literally been out 2 weeks before to do his teeth because he's a senior. They get their teeth done all the time, at least once a year. To do his teeth, she pulled one out because it was loose, but he looked good. She was happy with how he looked. She took a fecal sample because it was starting to be springtime, and after she left, I let him graze a little and I turned him out. That was our routine. I'd brush him, let him graze, turn him out because he deserved retirement. I believe horses deserve retirement. So about 2-3 weeks later, I get a call from my barn owner at 4:30 in the morning. And thankfully, I just happened to be up because my dog, for some reason, that morning really had to go to the bathroom. And I checked my phone and I was like, wait, why is... My barn owner would never call me that early in the morning unless it was an emergency that he needed help with or it was with my horse. So I listened to the voicemail and he basically is like, hey, call me back, the horse is down. So I didn't even finish the voicemail, I immediately called him back. And he said that he came in for last night's feed and he was fine at bedtime last night. But this morning he didn't come in from the field to eat because the horses at the farm come in on their own. They go into their own stalls. It's incredibly cool how well they're trained there by the barn owner. So him and his wife had been trying to get him up, but he wasn't getting up. So I was on my way down. I called the vet. The vet unfortunately was at another call. The emergency vet was. And she was farther away than normal. So it took her, so even though I called her around 5:36, it took her until like 7:30 to get there. And when I got there, I don't want to be morbid, but I thought he was already gone. I saw him from my truck. I went out in the field. How he was laying down, I know people say horses look like they're dead when they lay down all the time, but I've been around horses a long time. I work for a vet. He was down. The rest of his herd mates were nowhere near him. And his back legs were stiff, like just straight out. Not relaxed laying on top of each other. They were like this. I get to him. It was clear he was in pain from his eye. He was dehydrated. His bow was very empty, meaning like you could see that it was like crested in. Not that he was underweight, but that he had nothing in his stomach basically. So he had been down for a while. The vet gets, first I call my friend Maddie, who I grew up riding with, and we were together at the farm every day to the point if one of us was there and the other one wasn't, the farm owner would say, where's your partner in crime? She drives up like almost an hour away to be there. I call the girl that used to lease him because she leased him. She deserves to be there. Called my dad. I called my adopted barn mom. I called my other friend from the farm, but she was at work. And They all get there. And my husband really wanted to be there, but he had just started a new job and he couldn't risk his job. Especially because I was 39 weeks pregnant at this point. I do everything the vet told me to do while I'm waiting on her. We try to get my horse up. He tries. He sits up a little, but he immediately lays back down. And it was like he couldn't get his hindquarters up into position to get up. So the vet gets there and she basically says it's not good, that we can sling him, we can do everything possible, and it's going to cost a lot of money, but she's willing to do anything I want to do. And this isn't his normal vet, by the way. This is a vet that works at the same hospital. That was the on-call vet today, or the day of. But with his age and with the signs of how long he's been down, like he hasn't eaten, he hasn't drinking or drunk in a while, that it wasn't good. He most likely wasn't going to get up, and even if we got him up, his legs were probably done with how he was behaving, whether he had a stroke or they were atrophied. And so I said, well, what can we do? She said, well, we can roll him and try to get some blood flow going for his back legs, because if it is that his muscles are like tensing up, then moving them around will get them to work. So we did that. We gave him Banamine, because I said, well, what if we just give him pain medicine? What if it's his hocks? He was due to have him injected soon. Can we just give him pain medicine and see if that will work? And the vet was like, yeah, I can do that. We give him pain medicine, and immediately he looks so much better in the face. He went from looking like distressed and upset to being relaxed in the face, and that meant a lot to me. So we get him pain medicine, a joint effort of everybody pushing him up onto his side so that he was sitting, I forget what the actual term is, but he was laying on his side up to his belly. So we got him up to his belly. And he put his front feet out in front of him like he wanted to stand. And he was like sitting there for a minute, trying to lay back down, but everybody was holding him up. Put hay behind him so that he couldn't lean back. And eventually he just kind of pushed everybody in the hay out of the way to lay back down. So we took it upon ourselves to kind of like, hoot and holler and yell at him. And the vet got him up. She got him up. But the problem is he did get up. But as soon as he went to put weight on his back legs, they just went out from under him and he fell. And at 28 years old, and a horse that can't control their hind, it became very apparent that the nicest thing I could do for my horse at this point in time was to let him go. And it was 2 days before his birthday. As you know, you've probably seen me sing happy birthday to him on this channel. I sung it to him every year. It made him wear a silly hat like every year, and he was a good sport about it. I'm trying not to cry because I'm gonna lose it. He was a good sport about wearing his silly hat and me singing him happy birthday and getting the treats and just loving life. And this may sound selfish, but I just wanted him to meet my daughter. I just wanted him to live a little bit longer and meet my daughter. That's all I really wanted. He was like, I didn't think I could get pregnant. I was told I couldn't get pregnant. And he wouldn't leave my belly alone. He kept bugging me about it and bugging me about it. And so I took a pregnancy test and I was pregnant. He's the one who told me I was pregnant. Like, And I just wanted him to meet her. I'm sorry, Asian. I've seen a lot of horses put down. I've helped put down a lot of horses. And I will say that he's probably had one of the most peaceful deaths, because horses a lot of times spasm. It's not, they're gone. Like, it's just their nerves. People do it too. But he was so ready to go. His body was so ready to go. He just let out this big breath of air and he was gone. And I have his shoes, and I have his tail, and a piece of his mane, but it's not the same. Like, it's hard to lose any pet, but I've had this animal for more than half of my life. He's been like everything to me. I broke up with boyfriends since I left people for him. I did everything with him. Every day I was there 2 p.m. to like 6:30, and on the weekends I was there like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I was incredibly lucky to have him as a teenager, where I had no cares, no big responsibilities, no worry about getting hurt, because you're so carefree when you're a teenager. And he hurt me a lot. Like, not on purpose. He was just a spunky horse. He had a lot of attitude, a lot of personality. That's why I loved him. Because you couldn't tell him anything. You had to convince him. Even in his old age, if you try to tell him something, he would tell you to go F yourself. It had to be a team with him. You couldn't tell him what to do. And I'll never have a horse like him again. Like I truly, honestly believe he was my heart horse. I've had a lot of horses that I've made really good connections with and vibed really well with. But I'll never have another horse like him again. Like, he was literally my best friend. He helped me get through my grandparents' death. He helped me get through my mom's death. I don't know what I would do if I didn't, without him in my teenage years. He helped me through a lot. He helped me through my mental health, everything. And now he's gone. And it's crazy to think that he's gone. I need to stop crying, because I'll never stop talking if I'm crying. I just wanted him to meet my daughter. That's all I wanted. I don't know how to end this video. Thank you for all the people who have loved him, even though you've never met him. It was greatly appreciated. And give your horse if you have a horse or a dog, give him an extra tight hug, because he was fine and then he wasn't. That's the thing that's most upsetting, is he was doing great, better than he had been doing in a long time, and then a couple days later he was gone.